I mentioned today that we're going to take time tonight to get a report from Deborah, and she had the opportunity to travel on the Bob Jones University Australian mission team. And so Deborah's going to come now, and she's going to share what the Lord has given her opportunities. There you
go. Good evening. As my dad said, I was able to travel on the Bob Jones University Australia team, and it really was a privilege, and I am extremely excited with my clicker to give this presentation. All right. This is my team. Up here, you see the Matskos. They led our team, and then there was 9 team members total. Do I need to do something differently? I'm going to turn off my adjustments. How's that? Deputation. I did come to Anchor, and I am extremely grateful for the support that you gave me financially and in prayer. As a thank you, I brought back the Church of Boomerang, and it is real, and it's hand-painted by the Aboriginals. I'm going to pass it around so you can see it for yourself.
Just throw it.
I'm trying to, it keeps coming back.
I brought back for you. I've been looking forward to doing this all summer. I brought back jumpies. These are like Australian snacks. I'm going to put one on this side and one on the other side. I also brought back Aussie money. And you can pass it around and look at it. I have a $5 bill and a $10 bill. I'm going to start it on this side and just going to snake it around. You can look through it.
Is this like a museum?
No. The jumpies are shaped like kangaroos, and they're chicken flavored. Don't let that scare you, but that's actually very common. There's potato chips over there that have chicken seasoning on it, and they're so good. So I wanted to bring you back something to try, some food, and you can see the currency and a boomerang. I can't not bring back a boomerang for you. So is America and Australia really that different? They both speak English, and you almost feel like you fit right in, except your accent's obviously very, very different than theirs. Theirs is cooler. But they do drive on the left side of the road, just like they do in England. The currency that I'm passing around, I do have some points, and you can come to me afterwards if you want to see them. And then, of course, different food. They have a cookie. They call them biscuits, and they're Tim Tams, and they are very good as well. Well, there's actually many flavors. Just like America has Oreos, and there's like 15 different flavors of Oreos. That's Tim Tams, or like the Australian Oreo. You go and there's like all of these flavors. Everybody knows what Tim Tams are. I went on this team to be taught by people that are wiser than me. So we got a lot of teaching. Everywhere we went, there were pastors and teachers that would be all ready for us. They'd have sessions for us, and we'd all sit down and they would teach us, and we would take notes. We had a very detailed journal of our daily lives as well as things that we were taught. This was very, very normal to just sit down and have a session when it was in the middle of the woods or before going on visitation. We went to an Arabic church as well as a Romanian church. That was very special. They sang in Arabic and had it on the screen. We were translated for. They would sing in Arabic as well as English. Just the way that our world is, English is becoming more and more valuable. Thus, the English is being taught in the schools, and all the youth, all the children, all the people that are my age now, college students, they speak English fluently, and they may not know their native tongue of their parents. This language barrier causes issues, as you can see in the church. But we went as an encouragement to the youth and to reach out to them, to show them that you can still be a young person this generation and follow Jesus Christ with all of your heart. And this is the Romanian church, and this is the Arabic church. The Mascos are staff at Bob Jones. At least Dr. Masco isn't presently. This is him doing science seminars. So just like we've had, who was the person that did the creation thing before? Skip Tilton. He came and did like creation facts and helped build our faith by pointing science and saying, hey, the Bible connects. This is what he did for the Australians. And we went into Christian schools, and he would do science experiments for the kids and correlate it with the Bible and the gospel. Heaven surveys and letterboxing. Heaven surveys was just a way to engage people in a conversation about the gospel. Flipboard questions about heaven and how, just as information, and sometimes that would branch into a conversation. You would knock door to door. Some people would want to talk and we had good conversations. Other people just want nothing to do with what we had to say. There is a very, very high level of biblical illiteracy in Australia. Most people may not even know the basic literary stories of the Bible. So you almost have to start at creation and work your way up to the cross so they understand. In America, we take it for granted that we know who Adam and Eve is and Noah, and we can hang things on because we've heard it as a child. Australia, they don't have that. So it's very interesting. Letterboxing, of course, is illegal in the United States. You just can't walk up to somebody's mailbox and put something in it. However, it's not that way in Australia. We were able to put invites to churches in their mailboxes, or introducing a new kids club. Pastors would just have, 5,000 flyers and not enough staff to put them in all these letterboxes. So the BJU team comes and it's like, help, yes. And you would say, we're going letterboxing. And we would do that for hours and just walk around and put them in people's mailboxes. Very big help to them. We went to Camp Benaya. I think it's one of the only Christian camps in Australia. Not very big. It runs for 2 weeks out of the entire year, which means it gets very dirty and things break. For years, for 23 years, the Australia team have been the people that come and clean and fix everything, and then are the staff to run the camp. So anything like wiping down buildings with water and vinegar and taking off mildew, just things that need done that they don't have enough people to do. Cleaning screens, making signs for fun, for camp. The theme was days and nights, so they had all these fun signs that we hand painted. I got to use my hand lettering skills. That was cool. And just hard work, cleaning, pulling weeds, mowing grass. Awesome. We went to state schools as community service workers. What a great way to get in and be a good testimony. We did food prep and grilled and other things. We were the staff for Camp Benaya. I was a cabin leader the senior week of camp. These are my girls, and they were the people that I influenced for the week. And praise the Lord, Haley, Keisha, and Cheyenne accepted Jesus as their Savior that week. And I'm really glad that I got to help lead them to Christ. This is us doing devotions outside. Teaching children. Did this for a solid 2 months. We went all up and down the east coast of Australia. So every single church, every single school we went to, we were able to teach. Interesting fact, in America, you can't go into the public schools and just start preaching or telling the gospel and saying Jesus and even talking about Easter and what it's really all about. However, in Australia, they have religious education class, and they invite people to come in and teach the children. Now, that means that Buddhist, Muslim, Catholic, Baptist, whatever, are allowed to teach these children. Pastors in Australia jump on this, and women in the church, they will go in as their ministry, and they will teach the children the basic stories, just get them some Bible into their life, because, as I said, there's like zero knowledge of God's Word. This is me teaching Sunday school in a church, and the little 3-year-olds. That was awesome. This was another church, a little older, and there was children's skits that we did to help bring biblical truth to life. They were really fun and funny, but they had a biblical message. We learned how to do children evangelism with approaching it from not so much Jesus came to earth, although that is true, but thinking of it as Jesus is the king and he is the boss, and he made a rescue plan to help save us. Using words like rescue instead of salvation, sanctification, and all these words that they have no clue what they are, and you really don't have time to teach them those really big words. So learning how to teach the gospel to a 5-year-old really is valuable. Special music. Every week we sang our song, A Passion for Thee, as a choir arrangement. Caleb Blue, that you can't see in the picture, is our pianist. And I was able to use my voice and sing Does Jesus Care throughout Australia. As I said, teaching in the public school, as you can see, this says Jesus' death and resurrection in front of the entire student body. Just able to tell the gospel to all these children. This is a bridge track. You might see these out in the track rack, of the little sticks that go across from heaven to earth to heaven. And this was just papers that we would roll out and say, oh, does this reach the other person? No, it doesn't, but Jesus' death and resurrection is really long, and it made it all the way across. And the kids get it. This is all of us standing outside the Annandale State School in our matching outfits. So they knew who we were. Now, everything was ministry that we did. However, some things were labeled as cultural experiences, which is really good, because you're able to talk with them about an AFL game that you went to, or that you watched on TV, or we got to scuba dive, well, snorkel technically, in the Great Barrier Reef, and that was amazing. We got to see the Sydney Opera House and actually attend a concert inside the concert hall. We went to sugarcane farm. Sugarcane is equivalent to corn. In America, there's just corn fields everywhere, whereas in Australia, specifically Queensland, lots and lots of sugarcane, very big tractor, and we got to drive it. So that was cool. We went to a sugarcane factory. This is now no longer allowed to happen. They don't allow tours to come in anymore. But since Dr. Masco is really close friends with the boss of the company, because he's been coming for 23 years, we got to go in. As you can see, we are totally covered from head to toe in hard hats and long pants and closed-toed shoes and gloves to make sure that we matched code, but it was very, very cool. We got to see Wallaman Falls. Have any of you heard of Wallaman Falls? It is the longest single drop waterfall in the Southern Hemisphere. This is at the top, and I kid you not, we hiked all the way to the bottom by foot, and then had to walk all the way back up, I think in 45 minutes. I almost died. It was gorgeous though, it was worth it. The Great Ocean Road. Have you ever heard of the Great Ocean Road? This is
I don't get out much.
Australia anyway. It's a very famous road trip you can take and see just raw prizes and tourist attractions at every beach you see, but this you can go here and there's not a hotel in sight. It's just the cliffs and the golden sands. This is beautiful. This is the 12 Apostles. It's also a famous location to go to. I can't not include this. Australian animals. We got to go to the Billy Bong Wildlife Sanctuary and touch a koala. Now he was shy. He didn't want to look at the camera, but that's okay. This is a baby crocodile. And it had his mouth rubber band shut, so that's okay. And a kangaroo. And many other animals as well. This is the most important thing though. I learned so much when I was over there. I had to pick and choose what to show you and tell you. But at the end of the trip, we had to write an essay. They gave us a piece of paper, like an outline of what we had to write. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, I wish they'd given me this piece of paper a week ago so I could have been thinking about it this whole week. But they're like, here's your paper, you have an afternoon to write this. It took me 5 hours to write the essay. But this is the list of things that God taught me. Have daily goals. Believe in the power of 1% changes. You're not going to change your whole life tomorrow. But if you can get out of bed at the right time today, then you probably will get out of bed at the right time tomorrow. Simple little things over the span of your life will change your life. Everything done for Christ will last, and He won't forget even the smallest thing done for Him, even if it's cleaning dishes. Faithfulness equals success. It's not about the money. It's not about how big your church is. Like faithful, consistent.
Yes.
You know that Christ there's a parable told in the Bible about the talents. And even the man that had 2 talents that doubled it and he got 4, the master still said, well done, good and faithful servant. That's how Jesus views what we do. Sometimes the Lord just wants us to focus on one thing instead of doing all kinds of little things halfway. In Australia, you were given so much to do every day, and I got overwhelmed. But sometimes I had to say, I have to just do this right now. And that was a good lesson to learn. God is at work in everybody's life, even the unsaved. He showed us a Venn diagram of 3 circles intersecting each other, basically saying that even though you may not have ever seen this person before, God has been doing things in this person's life, and you're touching their life, and kind of open my understanding of how God works in the world. My single years are a gift from the Lord. There is joy in serving Jesus. There is a difference between dealing with the sin of discontentment and a hurting heart. You can't find satisfaction from serving the Lord, but rather satisfaction only comes from a relationship with the Lord Himself. You can be doing all kinds of things for Jesus and being super, super busy, but if you're not actually getting to know Him as a person, you're going to be very unhappy. My reason to exist is to worship Jesus Christ by enjoying Him forever. People are worth the struggle. There is strength in diversity. Our team was very diverse, but we all had strengths that other people didn't, just like the church. I really understood the church more by being on this team. I don't have to fear motherhood because God's grace is sufficient. God wants me to be hospitable, even if it's just my dorm room and taking someone out for coffee or tea. I must always be expanding my circle of potential and conquering my fears. I can't stay in my comfort zone the rest of my life. God can use you and me so much if we're just willing to try something new. If you keep pushing yourself and pushing the boundaries towards things that are harder, but you know are good for you, God wants to use you in a really powerful way. He's a great God. Don't underestimate His power through you. Have a detailed, passionate prayer life daily. made this summer successful. Yes, we were the mouths and the hands that did the work over there, but without the prayer of you and people around the world praying for us, it would not have been as successful. Prayer is the key. I got a clear understanding of the gospel. At conversion, when I was 11, what actually happened was I was trusting in Jesus' finished work, and it wasn't my prayer of asking forgiveness that saved my soul. Just telling and reviewing the gospel consistently through the whole summer strengthened my faith. There is joy in leading people to the Lord, and I have the privilege to lead at all four. I have a great level of gratitude for others, and say so. God displays his power through creation, such as lightning. The creation seminars and Dr. Masco's preaching, very, very strengthening. Remember the goodness of God in your past, so you can look forward with joy and confidence. And that is all I have. As far as the presentation is, there is question and answer time. If you guys have questions, I just know you do. So we have a microphone, I think, on both sides. If you have a question, please ask it. Shirley.
What do the Australian people that you came in contact with think of us?
That's a hard question.
Well, people are people, and everybody has opinions, and they're different. So it depends on who you ask. Some people might think that Americans are really arrogant. We go around saying, you know, I'm awesome, or I'm cool. We wear t-shirts that say so. The Australians would never do that. They're more of a, I guess, a humble way of life. They watch a lot of American movies. It's where a lot of their entertainment comes from. So they're very familiar with American culture. And they like it. They adapt it. You can see different parts of their life become American. Does that answer your question?
First of all, I'd like to know, what's the predominant religion there?
There isn't.
There isn't any predominant.
They believe that they're good, life is good, we live for today, don't worry about tomorrow, very carefree kind of life. And if they have food on the table and a family and life is good today, why do they need God? It's hard to reach people that don't think they have a need. That's why it's so hard to minister in Australia.
The other thing is the denominations of the money, like $5 and $10. Is that like $5 more money and $10, or what's the currency rate?
It's close, not quite. I believe it's 75 cents. In Australia is $1 in America. About 25 cents difference.
So what about milk and bread and stuff? Do you get the, define it like the prices, is it about, about the same as here? Or?
About the same, yes.
Did you find that you had more in common with the people in Australia or less? Did you feel like a stranger among them, or rather like one of them?
One of them. Yeah, they're very accepting. You learn that people are people, and if you are friendly and you engage them and you take an interest in their life, and they're like, oh, no, reciprocate. And just because I'm from America and I have an American accent, they wanted to talk to us. We were a focus of attention everywhere we went. So it was really easy for people to communicate with us.
You said they taught religion in school. Is there a dominant religion?
No, there isn't. They'll believe, I guess they'll believe you what you say. Unfortunately, religious education class in Australia isn't always looked upon fondly. Mothers will tell their kids that they cannot attend, and they inform their teachers of it, and they have to withdraw them and take them into another classroom while we came in and taught the story and did lesson. It was really sad. Every single classroom we went to, we would go there like in the morning and be in each classroom for maybe 20 to 30 minutes. We would do that maybe 5 classrooms in a row. Bam, 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 same story, same songs. And each time, we'd walk in, they're like, okay, it's religious education class, people that are not allowed to attend, you need to go inside the room. And the kids would get up and do this every day. And they're not allowed to hear God's word.
Well, it's sad, it's a lost and dying place.
The reason for that is hell is a very, very bad word, just like it is here. But if the mothers hear from their children that somebody said the word hell in class, the kids are like, they go tell home, and my mothers are like, oh, I don't want them in religious education class, so they're going to be hearing bad words. That's one of the reasons. So we have to be very, very careful of how we present the gospel. We have to say, a place where God does not live, or a place of punishment, something like that.
By what you're saying, it sounds like there aren't many Christians in Australia. Do you know what the percentage is for the amount of Christians?
I don't have a statistic,
Okay,
but largely unsaved.
yeah.
The churches weren't very big. I think the largest church we attended may have had 60 to 80 on a Sunday morning, high attendance. Average church maybe 40 or less. Alright, I think we're done then. I hope that encouraged you. Your prayer and your money did not go to waste. I wanted you to know what you invested in. This summer when I asked you to support me, we did awesome things for Jesus, and I thank you so much for what you did.
Yes.